Don't shrink yourself to fit into the life of someone who doesn't see you as essential. You deserve to be chosen every single day. What would you do if you found out you were being treated as an option rather than a priority? Imagine the pain of realizing that while you give your all, others see you as nothing more than a temporary resource, something to be used and discarded when it's no longer convenient. Once upon a time, there was a lone traveler who, after days of walking under the relentless desert sun, stumbled upon an oasis. There he rested, quenched his thirst with fresh water, and felt renewed. But as he left, he never looked back. What he didn't know was that each time someone used the oasis without caring for it, the spring lost a bit of its strength. Until, one fateful day, the water simply dried up. And then, all that was left was sand and regret. What if I told you that many people live just like that oasis? They give everything they have, drain their energy, pour out their time and soul for others. Until, one day, there's nothing left. Nothing but a deep emptiness and the feeling of being used, discarded, and forgotten. If you've ever felt this way, unappreciated, disposable, like you were just a stepping stone for others to reach their goals, know that it's not a coincidence. There's a pattern that the Stoics understood centuries ago. You will only be valued when you learn to value yourself first. Let's reflect on another story. Once upon a time, there was a man who spent his entire life trying to please everyone around him. He said yes when he wanted to scream no, gave up on his dreams to fit into others' expectations, and in the end, he realized that despite all his sacrifices, no one truly admired him. He was just convenient. How many times have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How many times have you prioritized others' opinions over your own? The truth is, many of us live seeking external approval but end up losing ourselves in the process. And the cost of this? Losing your own identity, your self-worth, and, worst of all, the respect you truly deserve. But here's the truth that few have the courage to say: respect and admiration are not demanded. They are earned. And in today's video, you'll discover the 10 Stoic lessons that can transform your image and make others see you in a completely different way. They will start valuing you, not for what you do for them, but for what you represent. Before we dive into this journey, I want to know, have you ever felt used by someone? Have you ever realized that you weren't being recognized for your true worth? Leave a comment below. Your story might inspire others who are going through the same situation. Now, an important warning. By the end of this video, you'll discover one powerful strategy so impactful that it will make others not only value you, but actually compete for your attention and respect. A tactic that will transform how you are perceived, shifting you from someone who is always available to someone that people want to have around, not out of convenience, but out of genuine admiration. And the most shocking part? This shift can happen in less than 24 hours, so stay with me until the end, because today everything is going to change. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. Because trust me, you won't want to miss the upcoming content that will transform your life. Let's go on this journey together. The change starts now. Step 1. Eliminate the fear of others' opinions. Have you ever stopped to think about how many decisions in your life have been shaped by the fear of what others might think? Many times we hold back from acting, speaking, or even being our true selves because we fear judgment. This silent fear traps us, making us prisoners of external approval. But the Stoics already taught us, what is beyond our control should not concern us. You will never be able to control what others think, but you can control how it affects you. Imagine someone who always says yes to everything, even when they are overwhelmed, just to please others. Deep down, this person is denying themselves the freedom to be authentic. Stoicism teaches us that we should act according to our own values, not the expectations of others. When you start saying no without guilt, you will realize that respect from others comes naturally. Because respect is not about pleasing, it's about standing your ground. One of the most powerful teachings of Epictetus was, if you want to improve, be prepared to be ridiculed, hated, and misunderstood. This means that every real change disturbs those who are comfortable. Anyone who follows their own path will inevitably face resistance. But so what? The people who truly matter will respect your authenticity, and those who don't were never relevant to your journey. To start eliminating this fear, try a simple experiment. For an entire day, make decisions without thinking about how others will react. Choose your outfit without worrying about looks, express your opinion without hesitation, and prioritize your own desires without guilt. At the end of the day, ask yourself, how many of these worries were truly necessary? You will realize that the world keeps turning, regardless of your insecurities. The only opinion that should matter is your own. Now here's something few people talk about. Eliminating the fear of others' opinions is just the first step. There is something even more dangerous that robs your peace and destroys your self-confidence without you even noticing. And if you don't learn to deal with it, you will never be truly respected. Step 2. Free yourself from the need for control. Have you ever noticed how much energy we waste trying to control things that are beyond our reach? From people's behavior to the outcomes of our actions, the illusion of control makes us suffer. The Stoics teach that the only thing we have complete control over is our own mind. Everything beyond that, opinions, external events, and even the future, should not consume us. Fighting the uncontrollable is a waste of time and peace. Imagine someone who gets frustrated because traffic is slow, or because a friend hasn't replied to a message immediately. This person is exhausting themselves over something they cannot change. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our hands and to accept the rest with serenity. When you stop trying to control everything, you realize that most of your anxiety disappears. After all, worrying does not change reality. It only takes away your peace. Seneca once said, "Life is like a river. You can row against the current and exhaust yourself, or you can accept it and navigate more smoothly." This doesn't mean being passive. It means learning to differentiate what deserves your effort and what should simply be accepted. By eliminating the need for control, you become more flexible, resilient, and above all, free. Life flows better when we stop resisting the inevitable. A powerful exercise to abandon this illusion is to constantly ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, free yourself from the burden of worry. Instead of trying to change others, focus on changing yourself. Instead of stressing over the future, prepare for it. The more you accept the uncontrollable, the stronger and more respected you become. But there is something even more destructive than trying to control everything. Something that erodes your self-esteem and weakens your presence, making you invisible in the eyes of others. And if you don't eliminate this from your life, it will be impossible to be admired and respected. Step 3. Eliminate self-pity. We all go through hardships, but how we respond to them defines who we are. Self-pity is one of the greatest enemies of personal growth. When we place ourselves in the role of a victim, we give up the power to act. The Stoics believed that every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen the mind and character. Instead of lamenting difficulties, we should use them as stepping stones for our development. Think of someone who loses their job and spends their days asking, "Why did this happen to me?" This kind of thinking leads nowhere and only increases suffering. Stoicism teaches that life is full of ups and downs, and that clinging to the past prevents progress. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in mindset turns any failure into a valuable lesson. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, faced countless personal and political tragedies. Yet, he wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. If you give in to self-pity, your view of the world becomes negative and limited. But when you take responsibility for your own life, you become stronger, more resilient, and worthy of respect." To get rid of this destructive habit, start observing your thoughts. Whenever you notice yourself playing the victim, shift your focus to possible solutions. Practice gratitude, even in difficult moments, and see challenges as tests that strengthen your mind. The more you take control of your reactions to hardships, the more you will be admired for your strength and determination. Now there is something even more toxic than self-pity, And the worst part is that many people don't even realize they carry it within them. If you don't eliminate this trait from your life, you will never be taken seriously. Step 4. Cut the need to validate your choices. Have you ever felt the need to justify your decisions to others? Many people waste energy explaining why they do what they do, seeking external approval. But the truth is, those who are truly confident in their choices don't need to explain them to anyone. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes from acting according to your principles, without the need for external validation. Think of someone who decides to change careers, but feels obligated to convince family and friends that they are making the right decision. This insecurity weakens the decision and sends the message that the person doesn't trust themselves. The reality is that the more you explain and justify your choices, the more room you give others to question them. A respected leader is one who acts with conviction, not one who seeks approval at every step. Epictetus taught that the less we explain our choices, the stronger we become. This doesn't mean being rude or closed off, but rather understanding that your decisions are yours and don't need constant validation. Those who have clarity about their goals act without hesitation. And the most interesting part? The less you try to justify yourself, the more others start to respect your stance. Confidence and certainty are magnetic. To practice this principle, start making small choices without seeking outside opinions. Dress how you like, make decisions at work without needing someone's approval, and follow your plans without announcing them to everyone. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but over time, you'll realize the power of independence. When you stop seeking validation, you naturally earn respect. But there is one final factor that can sabotage all of this, and it is sneaky, creeping into your thoughts without you even noticing. If you're not careful, it can destroy your confidence and prevent you from reaching your true potential. Step 5. Eliminate comparison with others. Comparison is a silent poison that undermines your confidence and steals your peace. We live in an era where we are constantly exposed to other people's lives on social media, creating the false impression that we are always behind. But the Stoics teach that the only comparison that truly matters is with who you were yesterday. If you are evolving, it doesn't matter how fast others are moving. Your only benchmark should be your own progress. Imagine someone who spends their day looking at other people's lives and feeling inferior. This mindset creates constant dissatisfaction and prevents gratitude for what has already been achieved. Stoicism teaches that everyone has their own journey and that someone else's success does not diminish yours. The more you focus on someone else's path, the less energy you have to build your own. Seneca said, "The man who follows the crowd will never go beyond it." When you stop comparing yourself, you realize that there is room for everyone to shine. What seems easy for someone else may have taken years of effort, and what you consider a weakness in yourself may actually be the strength that sets you apart. By focusing on your own development, you become the best version of yourself. Eliminate this destructive habit, practice self-awareness. Whenever you catch yourself comparing, ask, "Is this helping me grow or just making me feel bad?" Direct your energy toward learning and improving instead of envying. After all, the only person who can truly stop you from growing is yourself. But there is something even more dangerous than comparison, a behavior that weakens your mind and makes others never take you seriously. If you don't eliminate it, earning true respect will be difficult. Step 6. Stop reacting with exaggerated emotion. How many times have you lost your patience over something small, or regretted an impulsive reaction? In Stoicism, emotional control is one of the fundamental pillars of becoming a strong and respected person. Those who are ruled by emotions become predictable and easy to manipulate. That's why learning to stay calm, even in difficult situations, is an essential skill for anyone who wants to be admired. Imagine a leader who explodes in anger whenever something goes wrong. Over time, people start to see them as unstable and immature. On the other hand, those who remain calm during crises project confidence and authority. True power lies in not being easily shaken. Those who maintain control the situation, and often the people around them. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone angers you, remember that it is your mind that allows it to happen." The people around you will test your patience, but it is up to you to decide whether it is worth reacting. Those who lose control at every provocation show weakness. Instead, the Stoics teach you to take a step back, take a deep breath, and act rationally. To develop this skill, practice silence before responding. When you feel anger or frustration, wait a few seconds before acting. Ask yourself, will this reaction help me, or will it make things worse? Many times, the best response is simply not to react. When you learn to control your emotions, people see you as someone reliable and worthy of respect. But there is another behavior that destroys your respect and makes you vulnerable. If you don't eliminate it, you will never be truly strong. And worse, others might use it against you. Step 7. Get rid of the habit of complaining. Complaining may seem harmless, but it is one of the most toxic behaviors for anyone who wants to be admired and respected. The Stoics believe that lamenting about circumstances doesn't change anything. It only reinforces a sense of helplessness. Those who constantly complain project negative energy that pushes away opportunities and people. No one likes to be around someone who only sees problems but never seeks solutions. Think of someone who always finds something to criticize: work, the weather, the economy, other people. This type of person becomes exhausting and predictable. Stoicism teaches that instead of focusing on what's wrong, we should direct our energy toward what we can improve. The difference between a strong person and a weak one lies in how they face difficulties. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. If something bothers you, take action or accept it." Complaining without acting makes no sense. When you adopt this mindset, you start to stand out. People around you begin to see you as someone reliable, someone who doesn't panic in the face of challenges, but looks for solutions. To break this habit, take on a challenge. Go an entire day without complaining. Whenever you feel the urge, replace the complaint with a concrete action. If something bothers you, ask yourself, what can I do to change this? If the answer is nothing, then accept it and move on. This simple exercise can transform your life and the way others perceive you. But there's something even more dangerous than complaining. A subtle mistake that can destroy your credibility without you realizing it. And if you don't fix it, all your progress could be lost. Step 8. Let go of the need to please everyone. Trying to please everyone is a heavy burden that stunts your growth and robs you of your authenticity. The Stoics teach that you should live according to your principles, not other people's expectations. Those who constantly seek approval are never truly free. There will always be someone dissatisfied with your choices, so why waste energy trying to please those who will never be satisfied? Imagine someone who says yes to everything just to avoid conflict. In the end, this person feels exhausted, overwhelmed, and often disrespected. People can tell when someone is trying too hard to please, and instead of admiring them, they see them as weak. To be respected, you must learn to say no without guilt and without fear of judgment. Seneca said, "If you live according to other people's opinions, you will never be your own master." True freedom comes when you act based on your values, without needing external validation. Of course, it's important to be respectful and maintain good relationships, but not at the cost of compromising your essence to satisfy others. To abandon this need, start small. When someone asks you to do something you don't want or can't do, practice declining firmly. You'll see that people's reactions aren't as negative as you might expect. Over time, you'll realize that those who truly matter will respect your boundaries, and those who don't probably aren't worth your concern. But there's an even subtler mistake that can drain your energy and weaken your influence without you noticing. If you don't eliminate it, you'll never be truly strong, and worse, others might use it against you. Step 9. Stop carrying the past on your shoulders. The past can be a great teacher, but it can also be a prison. Many people go through life trapped by regrets, resentments, and mistakes they can no longer change. The Stoics teach that we should not suffer over what has already happened, but focus on the present and what we can do now. Carrying the weight of the past only weakens your ability to act in the present. Imagine someone who made a mistake and spends years punishing themselves for it. This person wastes time and energy dwelling on something that can no longer be changed. Meanwhile, others learn from their mistakes, move on, and grow. The difference between a wise person and someone who allows themselves to be defeated is how they deal with their failures. Marcus Aurelius said, "What has happened cannot be changed. What matters is what you do now." Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every mistake is a lesson, and each new day is an opportunity to do better. The past only has power over you if you allow to free yourself from it. Practice forgiveness, both for others and yourself. Write down everything that still ties you to the past, and ask yourself if it's worth carrying that burden. Then, choose to let it go. You can't change what happened, but you can change how it affects your life moving forward. But there is something even more harmful than living in the past, a behavior that can ruin your chances of success and respect. If you don't eliminate it, your life will never reach its full potential. Step 10. Let go of a lack of discipline. Discipline is the bridge between desire and achievement. Without it, any great goal remains just a distant dream. The Stoics believed that true power comes from self-control and the ability to act regardless of circumstances. Those who lack discipline become slaves to their own impulses and lose the respect of both themselves and others. Think of someone who always promises to start something but never follows through. This person lives in frustration, knowing what they need to do but unable to maintain consistency. Meanwhile, those who cultivate discipline achieve results that seem impossible to those who constantly procrastinate. Small daily habits, when maintained consistently, create extraordinary changes. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly, just as a fig does not grow in a day." Discipline is not about motivation. It's about commitment. It doesn't matter if you're tired or not in the mood. What matters is doing what needs to be done. Over time, these small actions become part of who you are, and the results begin to show. To develop discipline, start with small daily commitments. Choose something you want to improve and make it a non-negotiable rule. It could be waking up at the same time every day, exercising, or studying a little each day. The secret is to build consistency. The more you keep your promises to yourself, the more confident and respected you become. So let's recap. We've eliminated the need to please everyone, the burden of the past, and the lack of discipline. We've learned that constantly seeking approval only weakens us, that living trapped in the past prevents our growth, and that without discipline, we will never achieve our goals. Each of these elements, when present in our lives, holds us back from evolving and earning self-respect and the respect of others. Now, imagine yourself 5 years from now. You're still living to please others, stuck in regrets you can't change, and lacking the discipline to transform your life. The days pass, the years fly by, and nothing changes. Frustration builds up, discouragement grows, and that feeling of being stuck becomes unbearable. But what if you decide to act now? Every choice you make from today forward can be the beginning of real transformation. The only thing separating you from the life you want is your decision to start. So which of these 3 things is holding you back the most? Are you ready to let go of the fear of other people's opinions, leave the past behind, or finally develop the discipline needed to change your life? Write in the comments which of these changes will be your first step. Your experience might inspire others to do the same. If this video helped you reflect or brought valuable insight into your life, leave a like. This way, more people will have access to this knowledge. And if you're not yet subscribed, join our community. Click subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos with life-changing lessons. See you in the next video.